Today for the Bitcoin price. Guys, what if I told you that there's one indicator in the Bitcoin charts? It flashed the last time in October 2020 when Bitcoin was at $11,000. We actually looked at it back then with DaVinci J15, and guess what? Right now, this indicator which brought Bitcoin from 11,000 to 60,000 is about to flash again. I want to show you in the charts what I'm looking out for Bitcoin, how I will trade the next up and coming move, whether it's gonna be to the upside or to the downside, and much more. Stay here until the very end, because this might be one of the simplest, most simple TA I have ever done. Nevertheless, one of the most effective ones. So stick here until the very end, smash up the like button, make noise for the algorithm as always, because we are the most supportive crypto family in the world and the most profitable one. I just checked the engagement on the recent videos, and I'm telling you guys, none of your comments, none of your likes is going unnoticed. I truly appreciate it. Let's go here straight into the charts and talk about exactly what price targets we are looking out for Bitcoin. And of course, this video might be midterm more on the bullish side. Nevertheless, the warning signs I talked about in the last videos are still up to date, are still relevant. Let me what I actually mean here. And what you can see here is the 12-hourly candles for Bitcoin. You can also use the daily candles. And this big pattern, which was actually formed basically since last year, is still a valid one. And I want to talk about where it is going to break out, what I personally think the price target is, and much more. But before that, I wanted to talk about this one specific signal. And it's not the Bollinger Bands itself. It's basically a derivative from the Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Bands width. And this is very important. Let me diminish the Bollinger Bands. The Bollinger Bands width here on the downside is telling you whenever, let me show you again, whenever the Bollinger Bands are far out, these bands here, these two orange lines on the upside, whenever they are far out, the Bollinger Bands width is high. Whenever they are squeezing, as they are squeezing right now, we see the Bollinger Bands width actually decreasing to a level where I consider whenever we are hitting that level here on the downside, the level of 0.05 on the Bollinger Bands width on the downside, this yellow line, this is usually the moment when Bitcoin goes to a crazy volatile move, whether towards the upside or towards the downside, I will tell you. And let me zoom out a little bit to show you something, because someone in the charity live stream, I think Four Flies was it, said, and also DaVinci said it, bull markets are not ending with a consolidation. And let me show you what this means. I'm zooming in here into this $14,000 run. Look at this. When we hit the $14,000 levels, the Bollinger Bands width were far out, like they were not squeezing at all. You can see it, we had a level of 0.42. And the same thing applies in the bull markets. Let's only focus on the bull markets here. The 20,000 US dollar top, well, the Bollinger Bands were not squeezing at all. Actually, the last time they were squeezing in that bull market was at 4,000 US dollars when we hit our certain threshold here on the downside of 0.05. So the bottom line is, and please guys, do it yourself. Go back on the Bollinger Bands and fact check that yourself. No bull market in the history of Bitcoin has ended with a consolidation. No bull market in the history of Bitcoin has ended with the Bollinger Bands here. Look at this on the downside being on this crucial threshold here. And if I'm zooming in a little bit, you can see we are not at the threshold yet, but we just need a few 12-hourly candles more to actually reach it. And why is the Bollinger Bands so low? Well, because the volatility is going lower, and because Bitcoin is having a consolidation among the all-time high. A consolidation among the all-time high was never in the history of mankind, in the history of Bitcoin, the end of the bull market. Bull markets are ending with a massive blow-off top. And a big rejection towards the downside, where the market is basically, it's a bad word, but suckering in, unfortunately, the retail money here before we are going towards the downside, before we are going into a massive bear market consolidation, a bear market phase for Bitcoin, which usually lasts at least 12 months. So you can see here on the downside, let me show it to you again. Here on the downside, this Bollinger Bands width. The Bollinger Bands width being very low indicates we are in consolidation mode, and no bull market ever has ended in a consolidation, guys. This is just from a probability point of view. Usually bull markets end with the Bollinger Bands being way up, like way above the 0.4 level, way above the 0.6 level. They end with a big FU move for the bears towards the upside. They end in something like this. So this is what I personally think. Why did I put out all of these warning signs recently? Well, it's easy as that. Let me quickly pull that down and show you also what I'm looking out for chart-wise here for Bitcoin. Why did I put out this huge, let me diminish that, this huge warning sign here recently? Well, of course, because when we have the volatility going down, when we have the Bollinger Band squeezing, it's not an indication where the price is going to break out to. It's just an indication that it is going to break out to. It's just an indication that we are due for a massive, move for Bitcoin. And I personally think, even though it is going to be towards the upside, even though also the volume is declining and Bitcoin is maturing within that pattern, all of these things pointing towards a volcanic, explosive move for Bitcoin. This doesn't mean that Bitcoin is maybe not going for one FU move, a big wick towards the downside, wiping out the weekends, maybe even towards the $47,000, $48,000 levels. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. Just wanted to prepare you guys. Maybe we have this washout before Bitcoin is basically breaking out towards the upside. No matter what happens, I personally don't think this bull market is over. I personally think whether we are having an FU move towards the downside or not before, I personally think we are going to see continuation towards the upside, and we are probably going to see this pattern eventually, whether it's on the 12-hourly, on the daily, or on the weekly. You can even plot this one on the weekly, because yeah, if you just take the trend line on the upside here, this horizontal one, it's formed since mid of March. Then the breakout would lead us all the way up once again to the $70,000 levels. And let me go back to the camera mode here. The $70,000 levels, it is the breakout target of the cup and handle pattern, of the inverse head and shoulders pattern, of the W pattern. It's the breakout target, it's the target actually of the AB equals CD move, of the previous move if you pull it over to the next one. And also, it's approximately in alignment with a few percentage difference of the Fibonacci golden ratio. All of these things we have to keep in mind. Do I personally think we are not going to break down? Well, maybe we are going to see a big wick, a big liquidation candle towards the downside. This is why I'm very cautious with my trades right now. I will show you my trades as well, of course, but I personally think that on the balance of probabilities, highest likelihood, whether with a fake out or without a fake out, we are probably going to have a continuation towards the upside, since we are consolidating among the all-time high, volume declining, ascending support, horizontal resistance. The highest likelihood for us is actually continue bullishly towards the upside as well. Let me quickly talk about my trades as well, because people want to see how is it looking in theory here and practice, because this is only theory. Well, my trade is still open. You can see my trade over here on Phemex on the bottom right side, $2.34 million in a profit, more than 40 Bitcoin. I'm keeping this trade open, and I mean, I'm keeping all of my trades open basically on the Bitcoin point of view, because right now we are still creating higher lows on the daily, higher lows on the weekly. We are in a bull trend. Nevertheless, guys, we have to keep that in mind. And unless this is not changing, I keep my trades open. People are getting bearish right now. Well, this is the time for me to get vigilant and to get ready for the next trade. Now I want to talk about my next trade here. Potentially, I really need to see Bitcoin breaking above this threshold here. We need to break above the $60,000 levels, and I don't want to see a 4-hourly above. I don't want to see a 12-hourly above. I want to see a daily candle closing above this specific threshold, confirming the previous support, which is then turning into resistance. Look at this. We are having these breakouts. We need the confirmation, the break above the previous rejection point. Otherwise, it's gonna be a fake out most likely. When this happens, I'm gonna be putting in a crazy trade. The trade I just showed you has $10 million in volume already. I will put in probably another $10-15 million and trade it towards the upside, not towards the $70,000 level, but probably towards the $68,000 level. And you, dear ladies and gentlemen, you can let me know what you think about that. Are you going to trade this one, or are you not going to trade it? You know, I have down below, oh, look at this. Here, look at this. What a beautiful view. I have down below $700 and free bonus for you. If you want to trade it, click the link down below. After your initial deposit takes like 20 seconds, you get $700 combined on these exchanges for free. You can use the free bonus to trade on these exchanges, and you can withdraw the profits from this free trade as well. And the most important thing is, if you are claiming this bonus, you are always, by clicking our link down below, the link in the pinned comment down below, always eligible for all future bonuses in the future. Whenever they are coming, I'm going to update you. The only important thing is you are signed up with the link below, and you will get these bonuses for free. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. Thank you so much, really, from the bottom of my heart, for engaging with that video, making engagement, making noise for the algorithm, shows YouTube this is relevant. And this is how we are getting all of our views. This is how we are actually increasing the size of our lovely MMCrypto community. Thank you so much for watching until the very end. Thank you so much for smashing the like button, and we will see you in the next one of MMCrypto. And as always, guys, as always, bye bye.